guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back. I hope your day is off to a fabulous start. I have a very simple eyeshadow tutorial that I want to share with you guys today, and it is using one of the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize cream shadow pots that I have in my collection. I am using the shade Oyster Pearl today. I love this one, and I think this is probably the best neutral out of the range that I've personally found. But I also really love the champagne, and I love the chocolate bronze as well. At one point I did purchase the Pillow Talk, but unfortunately that particular shade just honestly made me look like I had pink eyes, so that one went back. But I can definitely attest to chocolate bronze and champagne, and then of course I have talked the Oyster Pearl to death. So if you are looking for an eyeshadow look that is going to stay put in the upcoming summer temperatures that are coming our way here across the country, these Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize might be worth checking out if you don't own any quite yet. Today I'm going to show you how I use just this one shade, Oyster Pearl, to create this eye look that I have here. I don't use any other shades in the crease. I just use the Oyster Pearl itself to blend the crease out. So I'm going to show you guys how I get these easy one shadow looks from these Eyes to Mesmerize today. This technique would go for any of the shades, but the thing that you really want to remember here is that these do have a dry down time, and I just want to stress that once these are set on your skin, they are not going to budge. You have a little bit of time to work with them, but you can't dilly-dally. You definitely, I think, want to use the approach of doing one eye at a time and blending as you go, and a minimal amount of product goes a long way. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. I hope that this is helpful. Let me know down below if you have any questions, and yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. Let's go ahead and recreate the eye look from my left eye on my right eye over here. I do already have my beloved Hourglass Veil eye primer on, and I do have it set with my Laura Geller Balance and Brighten Powder Foundation. These are both holy grail products for me, but I especially want to mention that if you struggle with oily eyelids, especially maybe throughout the summer months, if your oil production kind of ramps up a little bit more like mine does, this particular eye primer keeps the oil at bay on your lids all day long. It keeps my eyeshadows looking crease-free, totally vibrant, and everything just stays put. If you're really struggling with having your eye makeup stay put, especially during the summer months, I cannot recommend this product enough. I know it's a little bit more spendy, but a little bit goes a long way. I have repurchased this. It's the best. Like, I'm so happy to spend money on this because it just works so much better than a lot of other primers have in the past. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my mirror here, and I think I have you guys zoomed in enough to be able to see everything. So I'm gonna take the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize in Oyster Pearl. I do use the lid to kind of smush the cream shadow into my bristles. This is an Esom W21 brush, but if you don't have this Esom brush, I would suggest finding something with natural bristles. This is a natural bristle brush here. So synthetic, I don't think lays down the product quite as well with these Eyes to Mesmerize. I have tried some synthetic brushes, and I just don't like that as much. You can also totally use your fingers here, but I think the key to having this work with a more one eyeshadow kind of look is to really precisely apply the product. And then, I think that's easier to do with a brush, to be totally honest. I don't know, maybe I just have fat fingers, or I don't have a lot of lid space, but brushes just allow me to be a little bit more precise. And then making sure that you have a nice, slightly stiffer blending brush is going to be key here. So this is the MitoPro crease brush. It's the BMX 430. I don't know how long I've had this. Now, ironically enough, this one is a synthetic bristle brush, But for blending, the synthetic is great, but for laying down the product initially, I have found that the natural bristles tend to work the best. So anyway, I'm gonna take a little bit of this Oyster Pearl. By the way, look at the dent that I have put in this pot. I love this shadow. This particular one works incredibly well for a one shadow look. So I'm just taking a little bit of that product on the brush and I'm pressing that into the lid and distributing that product evenly throughout the bristles here. So I'm literally just doing this, making sure there's like no big chunks or anything like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and lay this down pretty precisely where I want it. So this is where having a slightly smaller bristle brush will come in handy. It's gonna help with that initial placement. And as I find that I need more product, I just go back into the lid and pick up a little bit more. So at first, I'm kind of just following my natural crease here and laying the product down. I'm bringing it up ever so slightly on the outer corner. This gives me a lifted effect to the corners of my eyes here that I really tend to like a lot. And then immediately I am taking that flat bristle brush and I'm going in with what's left on the lid and I'm putting a little bit of that leftover cream shadow into the bristles, tapping it in, not smushing, just do some light tapping. If you feel like there's a lot of product on this brush, test it out on your hands first and make sure that not too much is coming off. And then immediately I go into the crease and I kind of diffuse that, that crease line that I had there. I'm basically trying to make this look like a little bit more of a gradient versus like a harsh line of cream shadow, if that makes sense. So this is really easy to do by just kind of doing these little like swiping type motions. Obviously, I want to make sure that I'm getting the same shape as my other eye here, but do you see how easy that is to just kind of blend in? Here's the thing with these eyes to mesmerize, once they set, they're gonna stay put. So make sure that you like that initial placement and that it's easy to kind of like blend that out before it dries. Now I take a slightly stiffer bristle brush. This one is just a Kevyn Aucoin crease brush. And I'm gonna go around the outside part of the, where I blended out the crease. And I'm just gonna blend a little bit more. So again, we're getting more of that gradient effect versus like kind of like a harsh stopping line, if you will, of the shadow. This is the thing with these one shadow looks. You really wanna make sure that you take the time to blend a little bit more. But you can literally do a pretty cute eye look, I think, with just one shadow. And I'm telling you, these are gonna stay put on your eyes. If you don't have oily lids, I don't think you need to necessarily use an eye primer with the eyes to mesmerize, but if you have oily lids, pairing that eye primer with this, you are gonna have a super vibrant eyeshadow look all day long. It's not gonna go anywhere. So the next thing I'm gonna do, actually I shouldn't have closed that up. I also enjoy bringing this down on my lower lash line sometimes. So I'm taking a Zoeva Luxe Precise Shader. It's just this tiny, tiny little brush here. And I'm gonna take just a little bit of what is left in the lid here. No need to dip into the actual pot. And I'm getting a little bit on the brush. And I'm gonna, oh, there's a dog hair. I'm gonna run that just along the lower lash line. Oops, sorry, I guess I should do this in a way where you guys can see. Just kind of tap that on right along the lash line. And then don't forget to connect that in the corner here. Then I like to take a clean Q-tip and just kind of smudge that ever so slightly. And there we go. Next, I'm gonna take my Viseart Grand Pro 1 palette, and I love eyeliner, but I can't use liquid liner, I can't use pencils. They usually like melt throughout the day. So I like to use just a really dark eyeshadow. So I'm going between this black and this navy blue here from my Viseart Grand Pro palette. And this is it's kind of a pencil brush. They call it a smudger brush. It's from Smashbox. Literally the lettering has almost been completely wiped off here. That's how old this brush is. I've had this longer than I've had my child, and she is 12. So this brush is quite old, but I'm just taking a little bit of both and then tap off that excess to help with fallout. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of liner along my lash line. I'm just kind of smudging it into the shadow to give my eyes a little bit more definition before I put on mascara. I think that's pretty perfect. I kind of like the little touch of like blue mixed into the black. I think it's a really interesting contrast with that Oyster Pearl shade. It's just really pretty. It's subtle. You don't really notice it from far away, but I really do like the way that looks. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and close that so I don't make a mess. Next thing I'm gonna do is just brush away any of that fallout. I'm gonna go ahead and finish my mascara. I'll come back and show you guys the finished look. All right, guys, so this is the finished look. I went ahead and added 2 coats of the CoverGirl Clump Crusher Extensions mascara. If you've never tried this particular one and you like a volumizing mascara that also separates your lashes as you go, honestly, I can't recommend this one enough. The extensions version does truly add some length to my lashes. I used to just buy the regular Clump Crusher, and that was fantastic for volume, but definitely didn't really add much length. This version here definitely adds the length along with the volume. So anyway, you guys, that is how I apply the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize. A couple things you want to keep in mind with these. Definitely a little bit goes a long way. You don't need a ton of product. And I think the most important thing to remember here is that there is a dry down time. So maybe work on one eye at a time. Once these set, you're not going to be able to do any more blending. So I would definitely recommend to blend as you go. But once you get the hang of it, these are super easy to work with, and honestly, they are going to stay put all summer long. I was wearing the Oyster Pearl quite frequently last summer, and it was pretty toasty around here, and my eyeshadow was always vibrant and it stayed put all day long. So if you're looking for some great long wear out of a cream shadow, these will definitely give it to you. So anyway, you guys, I hope that that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, if you're curious about what is on the rest of my face, check out the description box. I will have everything listed and linked down there. I appreciate you guys being here. Let me know what type of eyeshadow look you'd like to see next. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.